I sort of want the Jazz to have the 8 spot because I think they can give Golden State a little trouble.
Oh, totally. Who else do they have out there? That's really the only one that I want them to get.
I mean, it's them, Houston, or Dallas.
Yes, we obviously want the Jazz. Where are they now?
I think they're in the 8 spot, and they're losing to the Mavericks right now.
Come on, guys. All right, here we go, buddy.
I'm ready.
It's Matty and Patty, coast to coast. Welcome to the Cleveland Sports Hour. We are too self-aware, but I'm sorry, Matty.
I'm sitting right here, buddy. Jeez,
what happens when I don't finish the intro script?
You don't have it down pat yet?
Yeah, I read what's in that prompter, Matty. I'm Pat McMenamin from Brooklyn. This is Pat McMenamin in San Francisco. It's Matt Younger. Say hello, Matty.
Hey, Patty.
Welcome to the Cleveland Sports Hour. We are two self-aware but unapologetic homers who spend far too much time watching, reading, and thinking about the Cavs, the Browns, and the Tribe. But today, it's all about the Tribe.
Tribe time.
Tribe time, Matty. So if you like the informed, intelligent Cleveland fans perspective, you've come to the right place.
I'm excited. We're going homery today, Patty.
Opening week, Matty. You know, I felt remiss. We, opening day was coming up, but we had so much to bitch about with the Cavs that, we didn't give them the full due that they deserved. So consider this week, let's consider this our opening week podcast as opposed to our season preview.
That's fair.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So we're going to focus almost entirely on the Tribe today. And, I mean, the thing to me, Matty, about opening week, I don't know, is more so than like the home opener for Browns or even the Cavs. Like, opening week is all about nostalgia to me.
Yes. The baseball is all about nostalgia, buddy.
Absolutely. But, like, just also from my childhood, I guess, I don't know. Like, it was the first game I really cared about. I remember, like, paying attention to the Tribe. Well, that's not true. The Cavs were the team I cared about. But, like, I just remember, like, trying to listen to games on the radio and the last game at Municipal Stadium. I think it was the second to last game.
Did you used to go to opening day?
No. But 1994, when Jacobs Field opened, I went to every opening day for like 5 straight years, even like coming home from college for opening day. And I was there on 94 on opening day when I think we were playing the Texas Rangers. It was the inaugural game of Jacobs Field. And, we had this young outfielder named Manny Ramirez and third baseman Jim Thome, a bunch of guys you didn't know anything about. And we came back and won, I think, in the bottom of the ninth with like a base hit from Kirby.
Wayne Kirby?
Is it Wayne Kirby? What was his brother's name? Because he was the running back.
Terry Kirby.
Right. So, like, opening week always brings these memories back to me. And so the other night, Matty, before the season opened, I was watching Major League. And I got to such intense nostalgia just seeing the exterior of the Gate D entrance of Municipal Stadium. Just a shot of that big painted D. Like, trash bin. We painted the gate sign on a brick surface. that was that fucking stadium. It was so goddamn Cleveland. I loved it.
I miss it a little.
Oh, a little. I miss it a lot. It's stupid to say, but like I guess you get this way when you get older. But like I even miss the obstructive views of the goddamn steel beams, structural support beams.
That stadium sucked.
It was the worst. It was so bad for baseball. But I don't know. It's like I said, opening day memories always come back to me because I feel like you never know when a team's going to capture your heart going into a baseball season, except, for most of our childhood before the Indians got good. But ever since then, it's sort of been kind of crazy up in the air with a few lean years in between. We had that surprising Indians team from 2013. Terry Francona's first season. It didn't expect us to go to the playoffs. We made it there. It was exciting. It felt good. I never thought I'd ever love a Tribe team more than the 1995 powerhouse.
Yeah.
And for most of 1997, that remained true.
Yeah.
But then the High Sox happened.
That was
and
awesome,
then
wasn't it?
A million crazy shit happened. That team is, by far and away my favorite Tribe team.
Is it really? More than 95?
More than 95. Like, because 95, I feel like there was enough time between that and the last time I had my heart broken as a Browns fan. It was the first time I cared about the Indians. I thought, the Indians need to it's like you didn't appreciate it.
Mm.
It was just done with me. I was a kid, so I didn't appreciate it at the time.
95 still the tops for me, but the 07 team.
Oh man, what do you mean? With Dennis Martinez, Pronk.
Victor Martinez.
God damn it, Dennis Martinez.
Old Patty, you are losing it.
Oh man, McManaman. Did you ever make Bitmojis? You ever know what that Bitmoji thing is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was trying to make my Bitmoji the other day, and there's only an option between like blonde hair or gray hair. There's no streaks of gray.
No, you gotta go. You gotta go.
No touch of gray. I had to make the executive decision eventually. I was like, fuck, I got it. I'm the gray haired guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Maddie, this is all a very long way and a very traditional Patty way.
Mm-hmm. There's only one way with you.
Only one way with me. I was saying we're going to start this podcast off with a deep dose of nostalgia, because to me that's the only way to start a baseball season.
I love
it. And speaking of the opening music we had there, I think it's important to make some major league comparisons.
Always fun.
I think it's always an important exercise. And then we'll dig deep into this lineup, the staff, and particularly what they've shown us over opening week so far. In addition to your cogent season preview comments from last week. So let me finish my spiel, Maddie, and then I will let you talk.
Sure.
So, maybe we'll have to see. But to me, the reason to me sports come down to single moments, not so much single seasons. What makes it happen is the moments, good or bad. It's what makes you a fan. It keeps you going through the lean years and the heartbreak. It's those perfect moments of pure, unadulterated joy that make it all worthwhile. So I got thinking about this the other day because I was texting with our favorite troll, Scooter.
Ugh.
Yeah, the fake Cleveland fan, sports fan. He tries to pretend that he doesn't like the Cavs, but he actually cares about the Indians and Tribe. But we all know better.
Indians and the Browns.
What did I just say? Indians and the Tribe?
Yes, you did, sir.
Maddie, I've been having a long couple of weeks.
Yes, it's okay. I forgive you.
I wish I could even say I was drunk, but I am not. I am not. I mean, if I'm going to talk like this, I might as well break out the scotch. Anyway, so he's trolling me, trying to pretend that he didn't even hear about LeBron's buzzer beater against the Bulls in the playoffs last year.
I don't know. That's possible. He didn't know that we elected senators for a long time, so stuff can miss him.
I guess, but you don't expect him to be worldly and to know things about the world.
That's true.
But you do expect him to have heard about, I don't know, back-to-back buzzer beaters in back-to-back playoff games.
That's true. I mean, just if you're paying attention casually as a sports fan, you would have heard about that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So he's pretending to, but then he tries to nag me that we didn't do a real Tribe playoff preview or Tribe season preview, and suggesting that I wasn't big enough of a Tribe fan. So I started peppering him on what are your moments? What to me was important about that LeBron shot was that it'll be heartbreaking if we never win at all in LeBron's tenure, but at least I got that fucking moment where he hit that shot and I lost my fucking mind. Against the goddamn Bulls who broke our hearts just one game earlier, and we were on the brinks. He doesn't make that shot, we're done.
Yep, it's over. Agreed.
It's over. No magical ride to the playoffs. Not all that fun. The podcast, Maddie. The podcast.
The whole fucking podcast.
The whole fucking damn moment.
Yeah.
If we were not going to be doing this if we were eliminated from the playoffs of the Bulls.
Nope.
So I asked Scooter, and this is what I'm going to ask the same question to you, Maddie, and that's going to start our conversation. I asked Maddie, God damn it. I asked Scooter, what was his favorite Tribe moment of all time? You know, that quintessential moment where you lose your shit and it's the best thing. It's the first thing you think about. You think about, God damn it, that was the best.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? I mean, you already picked?
No, I'm desperate to know though. It's gonna be so bad. I hope. I want it to be terrible.
Sandy Alomar hitting, I believe it was the game-winning home run.
The homer? Oh, that's a good one.
No, in the All-Star game.
Oh.
I repeat.
I thought you were going to go in the 97.
Yeah. So did I. When he said Sandy Miller's a home run in the All-Star game, I was like, wait, Scott, are you picking a fucking exhibition game?
Oh, God.
Is your all-time Tribe moment?
He delivers. I'll tell you what.
I mean, Maddie, that's not even the all-time Sandy Alomar moment.
No.
As you pointed out.
I have another Sandy Alomar moment that's not quite in the vein of what you're talking about, but it's one of my all-time favorite moments, and it's not that.
Oh my God! I mean, the moment, Maddie, you tell me the moment that you were first thinking about when I was telling this to you.
It was 97, right? It's the same year, which is also it's also the All-Star game. I mean, Scott was at that All-Star game. I happen to know.
Yes,
because it was in Cleveland, so I get that.
I was gonna say I gave him that credit in the text. I said, no, I grant you the presence of being there elevates it. So I do get that. He gets a little bit of a I don't know if it's a pass, but I don't know some. What do you get?
Credit. Some
credit or not credit? What's the word? It's an excuse. It's an excuse. But go ahead. What do you remember about the moment?
But the big home run and fill in my gaps if I'm wrong, but it was the first round series that year, which was against the Yankees.
Yep.
And I think he hit a walk-off, as I recall, off Mariano Rivera, which might have been am I wrong about that?
Not quite. Very close. And it might as well have been a walk-off. It was the 2 outs, nobody on, 8th inning, game 4 of a 5-game series. We were down 2-1. The Yankees had a 2-1 lead, and they brought Mariano Rivera out on the mound and out for a long save.
That's right.
Mario fucking Rivera, untouchable, like monster dude, right?
Yep.
You know, legend in the making. And Sandy Alomar just crushes a solo homer to tie the game. And then in the 9th, we win it on an Omar Vizquel single. But like that home run, like
that was a great one. That would be a good choice.
Exactly. My man was like, that wasn't your favorite moment? I mean, your favorite Sandy Alomar moment? What was your favorite Sandy Alomar moment? Beyond that.
Oh, so my favorite Sandy Alomar moment isn't really winning, but I just love it so much.
Yep.
And I just looked this up beforehand so I could jog my memory. It was 1992.
Nice.
And so the Tribe was still bad.
Right.
Starting to get a little bit better because we'd made the Joe Carter trade. So we had Alomar and Baerga. And I can't remember if Bell had started to play in the majors or not at that point. But it was turning a little bit.
Right.
And we're playing the Tigers, and I think the Tigers pitcher was John Doherty, who nobody should remember, but plunked Alomar, and he bolted out to the mound. And Sandy's huge, right? He's like 6, I don't know what he is, 6'4", 6'5", big dude. And sprinting out to the mound, and it's already exciting because charging the mound is so exciting. It's a part of the game that's sort of gone now. That's a little too bad from my perspective, but I loved it.
Great.
Super charged up. I was like, oh my God, it's happening. He gets, I don't know, 10 feet from the mound, and the pitcher sort of dropped his glove and is sitting there with his knees bent waiting for him. Mm-hmm. And Alomar, at a full sprint, jumps in the air, leg fully extended, and drop kicks him right in the stomach. It was unbelievable. It was so incredible. And if you do a Google image search for Sandy Alomar Jr. drop kick, you'll get an image of it. It's awesome. It was the front page of the paper the next day. I cut it out. I still have it in a scrapbook somewhere. It's so good. And I remember the Tigers fans were so mad. They were like, the people were talking about how he should get expelled from the league, that it was such a crazy thing. It was awesome. And a super athletic move by him, too.
A drop kick. That's like out of a Double Dragon video game.
Yeah, it was the image. When you do the Google image search, is well worth it because it's just what I described. It's
so great.
That's my favorite Sandy Alomar moment. Not quite in the vein of what you're talking about because I didn't just lose my mind and cheer, but it was an awesome athletic display and an exciting moment anytime somebody charges the mound.
Agreed. All right, Maddie. Enough dumping on Scooter. What's your favorite Tribe moment of all time?
So I think it is in '95, and I'm doing this off the top of my head, so I might have some details wrong, but that's one of the fun parts about nostalgia.
Exactly.
In the Mariners series, and I'm gonna forget what game it is, but I think it's when we're going back, and it was I'm pretty sure it was a Randy Johnson wild pitch that scored 2 runs, and it's the one that Lofton came around from second base and scored on the wild pitch. Do you know what I'm talking about? I think that's the one that really put that game and maybe the series, because I think that might have been game 6 of the series, maybe put the series out of reach too.
Maddie, here we go.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome.
I love that one. I loved Kenny. I mean, that '95 team was my favorite team. There are a bunch of moments from that year. A year where
watching that video. By the way, it looks just like that scene in Major League, right? And
yes.
The medley of the Tribe on the Warpath and the double steal. One guy slides and he's like right behind him, like he's right behind the guy. Like
it's evocative of that, and it's also evocative, clearly, of Willie Mays Hayes coming home from second on the bunt too, right? It's got a little bit of both of those.
Oh, absolutely.
So I love that team. So that's my favorite team of all time. We had that question over the summer because a lot of our friends, especially, really loved last year's Cavs team, as did I, and do I.
Yeah, you too.
My favorite team of all time is that '95 team, and there were so many. Yeah. I think that's the moment I remember most from those playoffs. I don't know if you remember, Tony Pena hit a walk-off home run in Game 1 against Boston.
Red Sox, yes, I do. That was fantastic.
That was pretty awesome. But that whole year for me I feel like every big closer in the league we had a walk-off home run against. Like Manny hit one way up into the bleachers at Jacobs Field off Dennis Eckersley, where Dennis Eckersley just mouthed, wow. Off the mound. Somebody tagged Troy Percival, and Troy Percival was really good that year. I want to say Tommy, because Tommy just owned Percival generally.
That sounds about right.
I could have been Bell too.
I think that was the summer I did like a month study abroad in Japan, I want to say. Maybe it was 96, I can't remember. But like I remember coming back from like that trip and immediately going to a Tribe game that went down to the Bob in the ninth, and Eddie Murray had a walk-off home run. Like Eddie Murray was on that team.
Yeah, that team is so good.
So I have an unusual top Tribe moment because to me it wasn't a great team. It was a frustrating team, or it should have been a better team. It was a disappointing team, a disappointing end. But again, this is the power of being there, and that's where I sort of give
for sure.
For a little bit of credit. For me, it was Game 3, Division I, '96 against the Orioles.
Oh,
we dropped the first 2 to Baltimore, and it was just deadly. It was just depressing.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking. I went to that game with my dad, upper seat, the bleachers, upper deck, but the upper deck basically. I believe it was the right field upper deck, and game's tied. I think 4-4, bottom of the 8th. It's been tight, and obviously nothing's going right for us a little bit. We must have I don't know if we gave up the lead or not, but we scramble the bases loaded, 2 outs, and Albert Bell comes to the plate, and they have a pitching change. They bring out Armando Benitez.
Oh yes.
Back when no one knew what he was, except that he threw 101 miles an hour, and he did. He threw like you could see on the speed gun. He was, it was classic. Not quite casing the bat, but like the first pitch, like Albert Bell completely whipped on me. The place was just buzzing. This was the bases loaded situation with their best fucking hitter. And their whole like season on the line. This is like roughly 8th inning, I feel like, at least late in the game. And second pitch, he fouls straight back, and they're all just straight fastballs. He's just throwing nothing but gas. And the third pitch, he just absolutely destroys, and just sends it into the over the Jacob's ladder into the bleachers. Oh my God, just insanity. I'm hugging the fucking hot dog man, hugging total strangers. Everyone's going nuts and freaking out, and it's like, yes, now our comeback comes, and of course it didn't end up happening. But that like just moment of deliriousness was probably one of my favorite moments. But there's some other big ones. What are some of your other like favorite moments that kind of pop out to you?
It was a game I watched with you and our friend Brent in New York in the 2007 run.
The
We
Midges.
watched the Midges game. Was awesome.
That was fantastic. Yeah, that's up there.
Fausto looked great. I remember he had a K of Derek Jeter where he just made Jeter look like an absolute fool.
Yep.
That was tremendous amounts of fun. I'm trying to remember. You know, something I was thinking about with those teams is I never felt like we had a rival, like a singular rival.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt because the Yankees never really were it. And they sort of got ascendant as we were at the tail end of it, even though it was only a couple of years. It felt in like '94. It felt like it was going to be the White Sox, those Frank Thomas White Sox, and we were going to battle for the top. They just sort of fell off.
Yeah,
we lost to the Orioles. We lost to the Red Sox a couple times, but beat like even the Yankees. We sort of held our own against.
Yeah,
and even the one year when they were so dominant, 98, we took them to 6 games in the ALCS.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was a weird, just thinking about it, that was a little weird that it never really materialized like that, where we just had the big rival. And I guess the Orioles maybe could have been because they beat us in 96 and then we came back and had that crazy ALCS against. Oh, that's great. How about
I was just about to say, Marquise Grissom?
Yep.
Hit that home run. Was it game 1 or game 2? I can't remember. But that was huge. Like, we had no business winning that game. And out of nowhere, Marquise Grissom hit a home run to, like, save the game. That was crazy. So, yeah, I mean, 97 was a crazy, crazy, crazy fucking year. The snow game, just too many things to count. And I don't know. I'm excited about this team, Maddie. I'm excited about the team because they have solid pitching. They have, really good pitching. Some of the best pitching we've ever had. Starting pitching, at least. The bullpen is solid, and we have a lot of potential on offense, right?
I think there's a tremendous amount of potential. And something you skipped over, and that's part of how we were raised, is I think our defense is actually pretty good. What happened in Chicago notwithstanding.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that.
I think we have a really solid defense. So as more and more you think about pitching is run prevention, I think our defense is going to be a solid part of what we have this year. And there's a lot of potential on offense and an extremely flexible club with a manager who I said this in our last time we talked about this, but a manager who has the wherewithal to use that appropriately, which I think is a big deal.
Exactly. Yeah. No, 100%. But Matt, so you walked us through the roster last time, but it didn't feel right. It just felt like you were talking about a bunch of guys and what they can do, and I feel like the way I connect with my tribe teams is I compare them to the characters in Major League. Because what was so great about the 1990s that we could do a walk through the roster and find guys that felt like every single character in the Major League cast, almost. Kenny Lofton, Willie Mays Hayes, obviously.
Yep.
I feel like Wild Thing you could argue was Paul Shuey, right, with that weird mustache and the fastball. Jake Taylor, Sandy Alomar, sort of. I mean, Sandy Alomar wasn't that old at that point, but
he was always hurt.
In '97, it sort of felt that way. Yeah, he was always hurt, bad knees. Yeah, it had that flavor to it, right? Eddie Harris kind of reminded, who's that guy in '94 that we had? Jack Morris, right?
Yeah, Jack Morris was around, and I mean, it was super weird. He was leaving the team between starts to go to his ranch in Montana. He was not fully invested in the club.
No, but a key part of that staff.
We've had other better versions of that later, I think.
Oh yeah.
Paul Bird.
Paul Bird. Paul Bird is for sure that guy. Oh my God. Eddie Harris, Vagisil.
I don't. Do you feel like we've had a good?
Go ahead. You feel like a little jalapeno up the nose and just wipe my nose. What were you saying?
Roger Dorn. I don't know that we've had a great version of him.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, nothing's jumping out.
He's sort of hard to define because so much of what defines him is this off-field stuff. He was a crappy fielding third baseman who's a little scared of the ball, but a decent hitter. It's hard to comp that in the actual baseball now.
Yeah, Chisenhall's kind of young for it, but he has the look down.
He's an outfielder now.
I don't know. It's true, but he never really had a good Dorn. Because I guess most baseball teams don't tend to have a Dorn.
No, guys, shitheads who can't really play their position so well. That doesn't
like. Do anyone ever think about the fact? Like, how did he get rich? Like, he's always like he comes to camp with his golf clubs and his ridiculous Argyle sweat.
Oh yeah, he's always looking at stock reports.
And he's got this important contract. He doesn't have to do calisthenics. He doesn't feel necessary. Like, how did he earn a contract like that? Who gives a contract to? Like, what was his career like before this?
Major league veteran, Patty. Even in the '80s, you were making good money.
I guess so.
So the weird thing about Major League is that there's what can we name? 3 position players and 2 pitchers.
Yeah, exactly. 2 pitchers, the catcher.
4 position players.
Taylor. Yeah, shortstop. What's the 4th? Oh, yeah, Willie Mays Hayes. Right. That's it.
That's
right.
It. Yes.
Agreed. Well, I guess that makes sense. Like, who else would you rather it be? You've got 2 pitchers. You got 4 position players. You have the manager, right?
I don't know. You could give one-note beats to some other players on the team. The shortstop's just that sort of anonymous-looking white dude.
Oh, right. Roger Dorn's the third baseman?
Dorn's the third baseman. The shortstop's just like a light-hitting 80s shortstop.
Sure. I sort of feel like Roger Dorn was the shortstop for some reason.
No, he's a third baseman.
For sure.
He comes over from third base when
yes, and tells him to strike this motherfucker out. Yeah. You're right. That makes sense now. That is.
And also I don't know if you've ever done this exercise, but the batting order makes absolutely no sense.
I haven't actually. What is the batting order?
I just think about it in the moment at the end. Hayes gets on.
And then Jake Taylor comes up to the slowest guy on the team to follow the fastest guy on the team.
It doesn't add up.
Hey, Lou Brown doesn't manage by the books, Matty. He manages from the fucking heart.
I suppose that's true, and
you wouldn't understand.
Batting order has been roundly disproved to really make any difference in.
This is true. So he was ahead of his time.
Your run scoring, that's right.
He played from the Moneyball playbook before Moneyball was even written.
So, Patty, I don't know how well it comps to this year's team. Do you feel like there's good comps?
No. Can you think of anyone that fits any player?
So there is not a Harris.
No, they're all young.
All our pitchers are young, and for the most part, they're strikeout pitchers, right? Like that's something we're known for, is we have a strikeout stat.
Right. We don't have. I mean, Major League didn't have a pitching death robot in Corey Kluber.
We don't.
Hispanics were largely absent except for Pedro Serrano in Major League.
Yeah, what would Pedro comp to Santana? But that's, that's just like the racist version of comparisons. Racist? Yeah. They're dark-skinned Latinos, and so because their games aren't really the same at all.
I mean, if we're being honest, Pedro Serrano's a pretty racist character. So
that doesn't mean we need to reinforce it.
Doesn't it make it less bad? I don't know. We're taking a racist character and trying to say who is he like on the team? Well, let's make a similar similar stereotype. No.
I mean, it's a funny part of it. Tells you how much baseball's changed it. I mean, it's 25 years.
Oh yeah,
right?
Completely. So, right. We don't have a cliched, baseball team anymore. You don't have that quintessential leadoff guy. You don't have the quintessential battered lead catcher. You don't have the
Latino players are not exotic at all.
Yeah, not at all. and our fireballers are like really even tempered. I guess I guess you maybe could say, what's the kid's name? I'm blanking on his name again. He's bullpen now.
Trevor Bauer.
Trevor Bauer, maybe kind of like Wild Thing because he's fucking nuts.
I mean, he's a little crazy like Wild Thing, but he's not a criminal.
Well, he should be.
John Rocker was the good Wild Thing.
Yeah.
That was a weird anti-nostalgia thing for me when we got him.
Ooh, that was horrible.
Remember, people were sort of excited about it too.
Scream after every pitch. Ooh, you could judge someone by what, and I did judge people. Like, just don't be excited about that. He screams after he pitches. It's a fucking racist. Just asshole. Did not want that guy.
I didn't care for him at all.
Not at all.
So I don't think the major league comp works so well for this team, sadly.
Brutal. What about Major League 2? We don't have a Japanese stereotype on the team.
Nope.
We don't have a catcher stereotype.
Nope. Our catchers are very good.
Yeah, man. We don't have a Francisco Lindor type. It's Matty. It's its own team.
It's its own team, and that's something to be excited about too, Patty.
Yeah, I am. Well, so what did you make of opening week? We had a disappointing first game where I felt like Kluber, as you pointed out, he looked good in spring training, but he looked a lot like he did end of last year, where he was a little bit hurt and just surprisingly touching.
Honestly, I'm just not looking to. They shouldn't be playing I wish they would not open the season there. I was thinking about it the other day. They could open the entire season in domes, California, Texas, Florida, Atlanta. Like the closest thing to a cold weather city would be Kansas City or St. Louis, and open like that. It's just not great baseball at that time of year.
I mean,
in addition to just losing 2 games that we're going to have to make up at some point later in the year.
It's brutal. Did Cleveland even? I mean, who really wants there to be opening day on the first day of the year in Cleveland?
It's bad for them, right? Like, you don't get great attendance for that opening series if you wait a couple weeks. I mean, the weather could still be bad. Granted, I get how spring in Cleveland is, but give us a little bit of a chance, right?
Yeah,
give it another week.
Yeah. I've always liked starting the season on the road, because you get the excitement of the season starting, and then you get your opening day at home. I've always preferred it that way. I hate when the season starts out at home. It's the thing for me. I don't know.
I think it's better. So I'm not giving. I'm willing to give Kluber and Carrasco, who was a little off the next day too.
Well, Carrasco was great until he gave up those 2 home runs.
Yeah,
he had these little moments where he just lost it, but he was otherwise dominant until that, right?
And I really liked Salazar's performance. I mean, Anderson went toe-to-toe with Chris Sale.
Yeah.
So I feel good. Our fielding let us down a little bit. I mentioned that earlier. I think I don't think that's something we have to worry about long term. I think this is going to be a good fielding club. And most encouraging to me, we've hit 4 games. We've hit 4 home runs.
Yeah, they've been hitting the ball really well. It's nice to see Carlos Santana hitting the ball really well.
Ooh, a traditionally very slow starter too. And
exactly.
For the most part,
him start out in a good one.
He's looked really good. Lindor has been everything promised. Jose Ramirez, man, I also had a really nice spring.
Yeah.
That's when I talked about versatility earlier. He's one of the primary examples of that he can play left field. He made that really nice catch to end the second game of the season, the Red Sox game. I say really nice catch because he made the catch and it was a little acrobatic. He didn't know it looked like he knew exactly how to play that ball. I wouldn't say that was textbook defense, but he'll hold his own out there. Can play all the positions on the infield. Yep. Just allows Francona to do a lot. And we've got 2/3 of our starting outfields on the DL right now. I don't know. I love
That's right. That's right. We're leaving out Michael Brantley, our best. I'm excited about it. I'm really
Brantley and Chisenhall will come back at some point.
Mm-hmm.
There's good. There's depth. There's versatility. We've got a lot of good young players coming up. Our farm system's getting a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
it's going to be a fun year. I think.
Yeah, someone had mentioned, I forget what was on Twitter, how they looked at all the names of guys that were going to be in Columbus and being like, I'd be happy seeing like 4 of these guys come up in the middle of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to agree. Like it's I can't remember all the names off the top of my head, but when the names pop up, I'm like, oh yeah, we have that guy too. Shit, like we have a lot of guys that if anyone falters, I mean, we got these guys to step up.
No, that's what I like about Uribe and Bird even and to a lesser degree Napoli. I think Napoli's going to have a nice year for us, but for all of them, super low risk 1-year signings, and if they stink in the middle of the year, you can cut them, and we've got guys to come in and
exactly.
replace that. We have some organizational depth that can bear through, and hopefully one of those lottery tickets pays off.
Exactly.
But it's a fun team, man. Fun team. Jan Gomes is real fun. Our back, we might have the best. They did this. ESPN did this last year, and I think said we had the best backup catcher in the league. I think we still do. Roberto Perez is really good. Excellent defensively.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a little bit of thump in his bat.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh man, what I love about the fact that we have these old guys starting this year is that we get the benefit of what if they have a great bounce back year and they crush and they're awesome and we ride that wave. And if they don't, buy mental time for the young guys because it's a long season. Those guys tend to burn out at the end of the year if they've been playing in the majors the whole year. It's a huge step up. So to have them come in the middle of the year just means they're going to be mentally fresher when it actually matters if we happen to make a playoff run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like it. I like how the roster is constructed. I think there's good synergy in this organization between the front office and the coaching staff. Mm-hmm. The Indians, I think, are a pretty well-run organization right now. I know they catch a lot of shit because they don't spend a ton of money. But also fans don't go to the game, so it's sort of a catch-22 there.
Yeah. I still get mad at fans because it's a great experience. Just fucking go to the games. Like, let's go.
I like the looks of what they've done to the stadium too, by the way.
I haven't been paying that close attention. What have they done?
You should. I mean, they converted a lot of the right field upper deck into like party bar space.
Cool.
They like the section. The next time you watch a game, watch the outfield in sort of center right. They've done a bunch of different stuff with, and they've taken away. So I can't remember what the capacity of the stadium now is, but they took seats out. I think they sort of recognized that they weren't going to fill it like they did in the 90s. So there's a little less, and then there's just more for the more fan experience stuff, which I actually haven't experienced. I haven't been to a game since they've done it, but I think it's smart, and the feedback I've seen from fans has been really positive about it. So there's like restaurants in the stadium, bars in the stadium, other places to watch the game, just sort of a recognition that people's patience and bandwidth for a 3-hour baseball game is for the general public is less than it was, and I think meets that in a way that's nice. And I think it's still a beautiful stadium for when the team is good enough to support people just coming and watching a game for a while.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I think I'm going to get a chance to go to a game when I visit home in July, so that'll be fun. Couple observations before we move on from the Tribe. I thought I had a pretty good, if mean, Buckholes.
Ooh, yeah, that was mean.
Kind of like a pedophile.
You said it,
isn't
buddy.
it also? It's not wrong.
You're not wrong.
I mean, am I wrong?
He's got the, baseball players traditionally have some of the more interesting grooming policies of any of the major league sports, right?
When you terrible. It's just not a good look.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I'll give you that one.
Am I right? A little bit.
Yep. I'll give it to you.
I was trying to figure out why do I hate Clay Buchholz? He looks like that's what he looks like. So Maddie, what are the chances we have a happy ending to this season?
I Are you asking me, is a happy ending winning the World Series or just having a nice year that's competitive in September, where games matter in September?
I say a happy ending is an outcome that justifies a miss.
Oh, you did it to me, didn't you?
Oh, I did.
Well, as we said before, that's
my pockets.
I revealed to you that if a Cleveland team ever wins the championship, and I after I do all the celebrating I'm doing, and I finally have a quiet moment of reflection, I'm just going to put that song on and weep by myself. So will we get that? Yeah, that means just quietly weeping to myself, not knowing what to do with myself. The odds of winning the World Series are I don't know, less than 5%, right? But that's almost true of anybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's baseball's a crapshoot. The odds of us making the playoffs, I don't know, 33%, 1 in 3 maybe, I think,
pretty good.
Which is not so bad.
These days, all I want is the Tribe to be competitive and to stay in it. So I have a reason to watch the end of the season. That's what I want.
And I think relevant September baseball is a much higher percentage than that.
Yeah, exactly. And
75% chance of us playing relevant baseball then, which is, I think, is good. And that might even be selling us a little short.
So that's what's been so great about the Terry Francona Tribe, right? Has been pretty much every single year he's been managing for us, we have basically been in it.
Yeah.
We've had relevant September baseball every single year.
And the wild card has a part to play in that, the extra wild card team, but
yes,
still.
It does. But it's been nice. And so kudos to the extra wild card.
Yeah.
I think that's a great format, a great change. Because it also takes away from the wild card team that makes it in.
What makes winning your division more important?
Wild card. Yeah, exactly. Win the division, you don't have to deal with that game. You don't have to deal with that chance.
Totally agree.
All right. So we have some depressing news to get to.
Oh, geez. Let's do this quickly and then get it over with. I don't want to sully nice baseball nostalgia with our shitty football team.
Yeah, I only heard about this because I saw the text from your brother. So you tell me what happened. He tested he tested positive for pot again.
For weed again. That is what's going around. I think there's maybe a little bit of, it's not official yet, but it seems pretty clear. And if he did, I think that means he's done for 16-2. The league won't reinstate him, which might go to explain why they haven't addressed it.
Right, and why they haven't been
his reinstatement. He should have been reinstated by this point if that's where it was going. So I wonder if this is what was the holdup.
Yeah.
But just, that on top of him, is Johnny Manziel living with him? Is he living with Johnny Manziel? There's all sorts of weird stuff. Manziel was saying that he was living with Von Miller. Von Miller is saying, nah, he's not living with me. I have hung out with him a couple times. They both went to A&M. So Von Miller is a supporter of him. But there's also, he was out, did you see that thing where TMZ caught him out in West Hollywood and he sort of commandeered the camera and talked to it and then was like, NFL doesn't care about partying. I've been out for the last 5 nights partying. I don't think that's a big deal. You just got to know when to say when. And I was like, oh my God, this kid.
Yeah. He says he's been out 5, 6, he tends to party 5, 6 nights a week.
And that's not a big deal. And honestly, I have to say, I don't disagree with him in the proper context, right? If you're a successful, I'm still of the opinion that I want my quarterback to be out and partying and having a good time and taking advantage of that position. I don't have a problem with any of that, especially in the off season.
Yep.
But clearly Manziel is playing with some different rules than that. He's demonstrated that he can't handle it. That stuff with the restraining order and his ex-girlfriend is still hanging over him. He has a code of conduct that is different than the Tom Brady's and Leonardo DiCaprio's of the world, who can get away with doing that because they take care of their business.
Agreed.
He clearly does not, and this is just I was rooting hard for Josh Gordon. I wanted him back. I'm pretty lenient on drug use generally, performance enhancing or otherwise. I'm willing to let that stuff go and welcome guys back, but enough's enough at some point, and I think we've reached that point, sadly.
Yeah. It's brutal because he was so goddamn good.
Unbelievably good that year.
Oh my God, Flash Gordon. And it's like it's bullshit. It shouldn't fucking matter. He should be able to smoke pot. It should not be an issue whatsoever. Except, he's also gotten DUIs. He's also gotten substance abuse issues, like legitimate substance abuse issues, not just like, oh, he smokes pot and that's not okay.
Right.
And the fact that he can't stop is, it's bullshit. But the fact that he can't is
right, and indicative of larger problems,
concern.
right? Like there's other stuff he's not going to be able to do.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. I think that's how most people are, right? I wouldn't want you to stop drinking, Patty. But if you had the opportunity of a lifetime to do something, and they were like, you can do this, but you have to stop drinking, you'd be like, okay.
All right, I'll stop doing it.
Right.
I was able to do it.
I understand.
And drink, as friends of the podcast know, as the podcast wears on, typically my speech deteriorates.
I am, incredibly pessimistic about the Browns until proven otherwise. I think that's the appropriate stance for
it's the
all Browns fans to take.
It's the only stance you can do and survive and not want to kill yourself. Not literally, but it's impossible to not be incredibly depressed watching the Browns unless you expect them to be terrible. Now you don't care as much.
The interesting thing here now is I think there's a little more chatter about them trading off of that number 2 pick.
Really? I hadn't seen that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just chatter. So who knows? And they should explore it anyway. That's their responsibility.
Sure. But what are you hearing?
Nothing, no more detail than that, other than they have so many needs. It's not like they're in a position where there's one player they're going to get at number 2 that's going to start to make a difference. And if you're not 100% confident in one of the quarterbacks that you could take there, trade back, depending on what you can get, trade back off of that, collect some more assets, they're going to get a player they need at number 5 or 6 or 7 or 12 or whatever, and start to fill some other needs. Yeah, and then you just signed RG. We went through the RG3 stuff last time, but you signed him. You're not going to start a guy there. So unless you think Goff or Wentz is the next coming, then it makes some sense to trade back and collect more assets and add. We need help everywhere. We need a pass rusher. We need offensive line help. We need 3 wide receivers.
So to give Stiggy his due, it sounds like you're buying into the Stiggy argument here. Except that you hate RG3.
Yeah, except I'm extremely pessimistic that he'll have a career in the NFL anymore. But in general, I don't have a problem trading back there, especially if you're a team in the Browns position where there's just a dearth of talent everywhere, and there's not a consensus. I don't feel like anybody feels like these guys are Luck or Peyton Manning or whatever. As much as that, I know those aren't perfect, and there's questions about everybody, but it seems like in this case, more reasons to be unsure that they are going to be great quarterbacks.
Yeah, I just feel like,
especially because you're going to put them in and dump them into this shit show that is the Browns for this year, next year, the year after, right? Like I'd rather build up the rest of the team and.
But if you can get your quarterback and get him now and not hopefully don't have to have him play because you have a bunch of warm bodies that can get crushed instead. I just think you can't pass up a chance to get a good quarterback, even if he doesn't work out. It's just
sure. So I guess that's the thing. If they're super confident that one of those guys is the fix, then do it. But I think the fact that they signed RG3 already means that they are not sure about that.
Maybe. But even if they aren't, 100% sure, but they think it's a good chance, fucking gamble on that chance. Gambling and winning up the quarterback means fucking everything in football. So just keep gambling till we goddamn get it right. We've built decent, teams and just not had good quarterback play. We had some decent rosters in the last 4 or 5 years, except the quarterbacks have been fucking horrible. The teams haven't been great, but they haven't been like the tire fires of yore. or this coming season.
I don't know. The defense has always been pretty bad.
No, that's true.
The running game has sucked.
It
Outside
doesn't
of the
help.
Gordon season, the wide receivers have been not great. We've had mediocre to piss poor talent every year.
Yeah.
Joe Thomas is going to get traded too, by the way.
I just feel like he should for his own good. I just feel bad
for
for
his
him.
sanity. It's the right thing to do for the Browns strategically. You're just going to waste him.
By the time we're good, he won't be nearly as good as he used to be.
No. In 3 years, you're just wasting him. I mean, I think you got to get the right pick for him. I think you need a first rounder, but
easily guaranteed you have to get a first rounder. There's no point in trading him for anything less.
But if you can get that, I think you got to do it.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
But this team is going to be so bad.
Maddie, why did we structure the podcast this way?
I don't know. It was dumb of us. We were excited to talk Tribe.
Yeah, and then we decided to actually talk about the Browns because the Josh Gordon shit happened. But
the Browns go late every time because we don't want to talk about them, and we push it off to the end, and we'll let somebody else worry about it.
All right, listeners, listener, I don't know how many we have. I mean, should we just skip the Browns for a while? Let's stop talking about them.
We'll have to talk about the draft, but I'm fine not talking about anything until the draft.
Right. Well, we'll wait for the draft to come around. Should we just otherwise ignore them? I sort of, except for the draft, and then just let it go until the season starts.
Done. Draft and then nothing until training camp.
Yep. Otherwise, it's just Cavs and Tribe.
Done.
Speaking of Cavs, Maddie.
Patty, a little good news tonight.
Yeah, Cavs secured the first seed. Shocking. You thought they might blow 2 games in a row.
I'm ready for anything with this team. We'll talk about it in our playoff preview.
Absolutely will.
I have no handle.
That's what I wanted to plug. That's what I wanted to plug. We guys, we're going to do a quick turnaround. Playoffs start Saturday. Maybe not for the Cavs. We don't know yet the exact schedule.
Yeah, I just saw that. I read from Jason Lloyd. I think that there's a Gladiator. That's still the arena team in Cleveland, right? The Gladiators. There's their Gladiators game scheduled for Saturday. So Cavs might play Sunday.
Start Sunday. Okay. So before that Sunday game, we will roll out our Cavs playoff preview. So
Pistons or Pacers?
Fuck, man. That is not a good first round matchup.
I think it's going to be the Pistons. The Pacers have 2 cake games. I think they play like the Knicks and the Nets or the Knicks and the Sixers. They're 2 really bad teams. But people want to avoid us. The Pistons play us in the last game, and we're going to be sitting everybody, so they should get that. But they play the Heat, I think tomorrow night, and the Heat are playing for position. They're playing for position. So I have a feeling we're getting the Pistons in the first round. That's my prediction right now.
That is not what I wanted to have happen.
I don't know. I didn't want the Pacers either.
No, neither of them. The funny thing about the East is that while they don't have any juggernauts besides us, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can't call us that anymore.
No, I can't do that. The East does not have any juggernauts like Golden State and San Antonio. I think Golden State's now playing for 30-73, right? Has that game started yet? Or is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. The East doesn't have any teams like that. But the East, there aren't a lot of teams in the East that I'm not like
a little concerned about.
Yeah.
I gotta say, at this point, I don't know that I'm concerned about the Hawks.
I was just gonna say, we swept the whole season with them. The Hawks, who are higher up, I'm happy to face them. The Raptors are a little concerning, but
the Heat scare me the most.
The Heat scare me the most. Boston, I know we can beat, but I'm a little worried about them in a series because they'll try to injure us.
Yeah, that's part of me wants them to end up as the 4 or 5 seed, so one of them takes care of the other for us.
But then you guarantee we're playing one of them.
That's true.
I really, really, really wanted Boston to get the 3rd seed and the Heat to fall into the 6th seed somehow. It was a possibility for a while.
Yeah, I think that's
I feel
done
like
though
2
now,
weeks
right?
ago, if the season ended, that would have happened. Yeah, we're
The Heat
fucked.
the Heat can still get up
It's
to
spot.
3. I think if the Heat went
Oh
out, they get
yeah,
the 3rd seed. I think so.
I would like that.
With Atlanta losing tonight, I think that did it. That was like did one of the tiebreakers. So I think if the Heat went
Ooh.
out, they get the 3 seed.
Interesting. Well, that would be nice to be able to avoid the Heat until potentially the conference finals if we have to.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'd be really scared if they make it the conference finals. That means they're playing really well, and we're probably fucked.
Yeah. This postseason's gonna kill us, buddy.
That's why you have to go into it. This will be the theme of the preview. You have to go into it with an expectation of absolute failure. It's the only way to survive, Matty.
What an uplifting podcast we run.
Hey, it's also a therapy session, Matty.
That's right.
This is how you survive. This is how you survive Cleveland sports, is by expecting the worst.
All right. Well, let's save the rest.
All right.
For the
Likewise, yeah, exactly. So that does it for the Cleveland Sports Hour Tribe opening week special. Until next time, this is Maddie and Patty saying. Shit.
All right.
All right. Oh. What kind of you, Maddie?
I think it's the audio.